Hey guys, Papa Pete back again today. Another episode of Old Guys and Old Games. No, it is not. Hey guys, Papa Pete back in today with another pickup video. And recently I was up in Moncton, New Brunswick for the self-proclaimed world's largest garage sale. 64-bit for life actually had a bit of a setup while he was there, selling some of his stuff up from the Halifax area. So I went up for the weekend not only to help him out a little bit, but to check it out for myself, right? And while I was up in Moncton, I also took the opportunity to check out one of my absolute favorite stores for picking up retro games. You never know what you're going to get. So I can't wait to share it with you. Stick around.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50, you don't have to.
For all of your Intellivision collecting needs, visit IntellivisionCollector.com. Intellivision Collector has many games from the 125 as well as the latest and greatest homebrews, including their upcoming release in conjunction with Intellivision Brazil, that is X-Rally, available later in May 2023. That's IntellivisionCollector.com. So like every other pickup video, let's start off with a craft beer. Now this is a little bit different one. It is Space Invader IPA, which is absolutely awesome because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm getting some Atari games in this. So I thought Space Invader IPA, when you have some Atari pickups, that's pretty awesome right there. What a great coincidence. But this is actually from Amsterdam Brewing in Toronto, Ontario. So it's not a local craft brewery. I'm not really sure how large this brewery is, but with a name like Space Invader IPA, how could you go wrong? It says it's a strong beer, 6%, nice and clear. 60. Actually, Mama C picked these up for me a couple weeks ago and said this would be great for a video. So I've been holding on to them, and this is the perfect time. So got a nice hazy, looks like an IPA or a pale ale. Oh yeah, that's nice. Good flavor, strong. So let's see how it tastes. Oh, that's not a bad beer at all. I like that. Space Invader IPA, Amsterdam Brewing. If you get the opportunity to try it out, by all means do so. Nothing better than putting a beer from Toronto in a Montreal Expos mug, huh? Anyway, gotta try it. Cheers. So the world's largest yard sale in Moncton, again, self-proclaimed. Is it that big? Well, it was a pretty good size. There's a few different people in there to buy games from. And I tell you, one person I saw was Sean from Sean's Video Games. You might remember him from some of the pickups I got back last fall in Sussex, New Brunswick. I saw him there, and I'd met him earlier that summer in Shediac, New Brunswick, at a big flea market there. But he had some games there, and I didn't get anything from him this time. But what I did do is he told me that he found some more Zellers titles, and they're going to be coming in the near future in an episode of Papa Pete's Pickup. So I'm really looking forward to getting those from Sean, maybe this month sometime, because it's 2 or 3 hours away. So I figured next time I'm up, I'm going to give him a call. We talked about it, and I'm going to buy them from him, but it was really great to run into Sean again. And there's one other person he was telling me about that was there selling all kinds of older games. So let's look at those ones first. He was selling a whole bunch of Atari 2600 cartridges. There wasn't a whole lot there that I really desperately needed, but he was selling a pretty good price. I think it was like 3 for $10 or something like that. Plus he had a bunch of fairly good Nintendo cartridges. So I'm going to show you the Nintendo cartridges I got first, and it's not in very good shape, but it's a very expensive cartridge typically, and that is a copy of The Last Ninja for the NES. Now it's very sun faded, this one, but the end label's not too bad. But for the price I got it for, I couldn't resist. I had to pick it up. So this is it's a game that was actually on the AVGN as being a terrible title, but it's a very highly thought of title for the Commodore 64, actually, of all things, and different 8-bit computers from back in that day. So the opportunity was there to pick it up because I sort of comboed a whole lot. So I offered him $20 for The Last Ninja. And also, I picked up a copy because, I've got lots of copies of this game. I got a complete in-box copy, but I didn't know if I had a text label. A picture label of Adventure. So I thought for that little bit of money, I'll pick up a copy of Adventure. The label's pretty good. It's got a little markup in that corner, but overall, it's pretty good. And, of course, it's one of my favorite games of all time, so I just wanted to grab it. And the other thing I got from him at that point was a copy of Battlezone. And you might remember that not long ago, Luke sent me a bunch of boxes that he picked up in a lot, the Intellivision collector, and he threw it in, and one of the things that he threw in was a box from Battlezone. So hey, the first time I had the opportunity to pick up the cartridge for good price, we grabbed her. So that's for that box that I got from Luke. And Battlezone's a very fun game. The 2600 version is not too bad. I used to love the arcade version back when I was a kid. Play it all the time. Terrible at it, but I could usually play through a level or two. And for the quarter or 50 cents, whatever it was really worth your while to do it. So anyway, those games, he said he'd give me, I can't remember what he's selling for. He'd give these to me for like $20 or something like that. And I said 15 or something of that line, but he really didn't want to budge. So what I did is I said, well, tell you what, throw in these two games with it, and I'll make it, we'll make it the $20. And what I got is I got a text label and a picture label of combat, because you can never have too many combat games. I love collecting combat games. I've only got 10 or 12 of them, but still, it's just something that you see them kicking around. Who really is going up and sifting through lots of games and picking out the combats and taking them? Well, I might just do it, especially for a little bit of a throw-in. I thought, well, he wants like $4 more than I want to give him, $5 more. Throw those in and we got a deal. And that's exactly what we did. So, pretty good pickups overall. Happy to always get stuff for my Atari collection, but very happy to get stuff for my NES collection. Next to my trip to Moncton, I took a little time in the afternoon, left the world's largest yard sale, and Con was there watching his shop, and we took off and went to a few other places in Moncton. And one of the places that I always love to go is Spin It Records. Fantastic to go in and just see the arcade games, play a few of the arcade games, look through at what they have recently. I've gotten a lot of Xbox games from them over the years, and I've gotten a lot of Atari 2600 and a little bit of Intellivision too, but those are the two big ones, because the Atari 2600, not very often. They have a big display of boxed ones that came in long ago, and I've picked through them several times, but I always seem to go back and find something that I want to get. But first, for the Xbox collection, because of course I'm still working away at it, right? So I managed to pick up 2 titles from Xbox collection there. They aren't expensive titles, and they aren't in alphabetical order, but the ones that I didn't have out of the 100 or so that were there. And first of all, I got a copy of Operation Flashpoint Elite. It's a very typical fighting game, a stealth fighting game like COD or whatever, and just one of the many on the system. I don't know if there's anything that particularly makes this one stand out from the other, but at the end of the day, I needed it for the collection, so I'm very happy to add this one. And well, there's one more that I picked up, and it's about the same deal. There are tons of these, and I'm going to have to be picking up a whole bunch of them in the near future, because there's a lot of them left in my collection. But it's an NBA basketball game, and what I got a copy of NBA Live 06. You should be able to find these everywhere, but sometimes you just don't see them, and this is one that I don't see very often. NBA Live 06, again, does anything to differentiate this one from any of the other ones? I don't really think so, but at the end of the day, to find a copy that's in pretty good shape, I'm more than happy to add it to the collection. But those weren't really the big things that I got from Spin It Records. I always go in there, like I said, and look at those Atari 2600 games, and I found a couple really interesting ones. Now, the first one I got is an Apollo game, which you may have heard of Apollo. They actually have boxes that are in different styles. They have blue boxes and they have these other type boxes. So sometimes you can find the same game in 2 different styles. But what I got was a copy of Space Cavern, which is not a real, it's a bottom shooter, but it also has things that come across and attack you from the side. So it's kind of an interesting little game. But at the end of the day, I was just looking for a decent box copy of most anything, and it was a very good price. And something that makes it even neater, if you take a look up here in the corner, this has still got one of those KB Toy and Hobby red line slashed out prices, marked down to $8.99 back in the day, and it's just such a great treasure memento from the crash back in the 80s. So love adding games from these third-party companies that probably ended up causing the crash, to be quite honest. But anyway, Apollos aren't too bad of games, but Space Cavern, there's nothing really to make it stand out from anything else. Not really a whole lot of great fun, but it's a typical bottom shooter, right? With a little bit, they always try to throw something extra in to differentiate it from all the others. But were they successful? Well, no, not really. Not too long after this, there was the crash. But I also got one more game from Apollo, And like I said before about the box styles, I got a copy of Infiltrate. Now, Infiltrate also comes in a box just like this. And I believe Space Cavern also comes in a box that looks just like this. So it's kind of neat to collect those different variants. But I saw this one and I really, really like this box. Pretty good shape. Now, you may remember Infiltrate from a video that my buddy Jeff from Gogamego just did recently where he did an exposition on the game. It's the one where you have some elevators. You're trying to go up and down through up the elevators to go to the top to grab this block. It's a block in the Atari 2600 and avoid these robots or monsters or whatever that are chasing you with the different levels. They're going up and down the elevators as well. So it's an interesting little game, very simple game, and you can see where things like this, which are again very, very simple concepts and probably flooded the market with different games, but still at the end of the day, I find things like this to be very interesting, and I'd love to collect all the different Apollo games, and then to have the different variants at the same time is even that much more interesting. So you never ever know what you're going to get when you go to Spin It Records in Moncton, New Brunswick. And not only is it a matter of never knowing what you're going to find when you go to Spin It Records, how about saying you never know who you're going to find when you go to Spin It Records? Because who did I run into that day for the very first time? I talked to them online a little bit, seen their videos. They'd watched some of my videos and made some comments. But I met Jen and Scott from Retro Rivals. I was talking with Mitch, and I was looking at all the different Atari 2600 games up there, and she stuck her head around the corner. It said she heard my voice and I was talking to Mitch. And so it was really a great pleasure to meet the Retro Rivals, Jen and Scott, for the very first time. If you haven't checked out their channel, it's a great channel. You should check it out right away. They do all kinds of great stuff on everything from NES right up through to modern day, and they have an absolutely amazing collection and game room right there in their basement. So if you haven't already, make sure you check out Retro Rivals, and it was really great to meet Jen and Scott. Well, guys, that's it. A little bit of stuff for my Atari collection, sort of some weirdo stuff here. Plus, another NES game. I don't get NES games very often anymore, do I? And Xbox, working my way at that collection. Not a big jump onto the collection right here, but at least it's 2 titles out of the 60 or so that I still need, right? So there's always big whenever you get any of those. And I'm sorry, but I love it anytime I can get boxed Atari 2600 games. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for spending time here with Coco and I here today. She's quite relaxed here today. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and please subscribe to the channel. I really enjoy it. It helps the channel very, very much if you do so. And we will see you in the next episode of Papa Pete's Pickups. You take care.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age.
Hey guys, this is Willie from Arcade USA, and you're watching Papa Pete, the old guy gamer.